everyone, my name is Carissa and today I'm going to tell you a story about Sankeshi, the princess with golden hair. Let's get right to the story, shall we? There once lived a princess whose hair shone like gold. Because of this, the king and queen named her Sankeshi, which means the golden-haired girl. Sankeshi was a kind princess. She often visited children and elderly people throughout her kingdom. She tried to understand their problems and needs and help them in whatever way she could. But there was just this one little problem. A monster was living in the same kingdom. Yeah. And he thought the princess was beautiful and he wanted to marry her. But there were always bodyguards around the princess, and he couldn't get close enough to talk to her. One day, the princess was on her way to visit some villagers, and her bodyguards were riding in front of her. Suddenly, the bodyguard's horse fell into a hole. It was a trap set by the monster. The other bodyguard rushed forward to help, but he became trapped too. The monster grabbed the princess as she fought to free herself. The princess threw sand in the monster's eye and it blinded him. The princess ran towards her bodyguards and rescued them from the trap, while the monster rubbed his eyes and shouted furiously. He was so angry, he pulled the tree off the ground and attacked it. "Let's go back to the palace," the princess shouted. The princess and her bodyguards fled to the palace. Back in the palace, discussion about the princess's marriage was going on. Princes from neighboring kingdoms had sent their messengers to the palace with their marriage proposals. But the princess refused all of the proposals. Later, the princess's fight with the monster was also discussed, and everyone praised her for her bravery. Many friends came to woo her, but none could win her heart. But the monster had heard of this news that the princess was refusing all of her suitors, and he became more certain than ever that he wanted to marry her. But one day, a worthy prince came to the palace. The princess liked the prince, and the two fell in love. Everyone in the palace was happy, and preparations for the wedding began. On the day of the wedding, the monster snuck into the palace. Yeah, he barged into the princess's room through a window. Then he attacked the princess's maids and kidnapped the princess. The queen came to visit her child. "Aren't you ready yet?" she called from outside of the room. "It's about time to sit on the wedding altar." When the queen got no response from her daughter, she banged on the door loudly. The maids regained their consciousness and opened the door. Then the maids told the queen what had happened, and the queen wept. "Come back. Come back, my dear Sankeshi." Where could the monster have taken the princess? Everyone wanted to know, but no one knew the answer. Finally, the king, the queen, and their soldiers set out a search of their princess. All of the kingdom soon learned what had happened. How dare that monster took away our beloved Sankeshi! And they too set out a search for their princess. But one boy remembered My grandma used to tell me stories about a monster who lived in caves. The boy told his friends, and they decided to go and find the princess. And the princess's husband-to-be decided to follow the children. They walked towards the cave, carrying nothing but sticks, stones, and slingshots. And they entered the cave fearlessly. When the princess opened her eyes, she found that she was in the cave, and she saw the monster looking down at her. What am I supposed to be now? She thought. She looked all around, and she saw a big sack lying nearby. She took the sack and threw it over the monster's head and ran away from the cave. The monster pulled the sack off his head and ran after the princess. Just then, the prince and the children came to the cave and they seized the monster. And not long after, the soldiers and many other people came to the cave and they chained the monster. But the monster was so scared. It wept. Please forgive me. I will never do anything like this ever again. I will not even come out of this cave. And they unchained the monster. As long as he stayed in the cave, he could live. Everyone got back to the palace for the wedding. They danced and celebrated for the princess and the prince who lived together in happiness from that day on. The moral of the story is, we cannot force anyone to do whatever we want because they have their own free will. Don't be like this guy over here. Thank you everyone for listening and have a good day. Bye bye.